Good evening, YouTube. It's Earl here. And tonight I am smoking two things that came from the Country Squire. And if you don't know about the Country Squire, it is a brick and mortar tobacco shop in Jackson, Mississippi. I have a Country Squire radio, an excellent pipe podcast. I had a business trip over to Jackson this week on Tuesday, and so while I was there, I decided to go ahead and stop in on my way back home, listen to a couple of the Squire Creek podcasts while I was on my way. And while I was doing that, JD or John David in the podcast talked about McBaron Vanilla Flake. Now, I'm not a aromatic guy at all, but I'm enjoying this vanilla flake. It's very interesting. You open the tin, you certainly get vanilla right off the bat, but there's like you get that Cavendish smell, sweetness. There's kind of maybe like a tiny boozy something else going on there, but mixed in within that Cavendish odor, smell, fragrance. You've got like a berry mixture, like a raspberry or a berry flavor, fruity flavor, right? Just interesting on the tin note. On the smoke itself, one thing that said, make sure you sip it slow, because McBaron, Virginias, and some of their tobaccos can really tend to bite. And I've done my best. This is my third time smoking it, and I've done my best to sip it slow, and haven't had an issue with it. But that's just something for you. But it's a pretty good smoke. The room aroma and the aroma it leaves on my beard, I like. And the smoke itself is pretty good, decent, a little bit extra than Virginia smoke. It doesn't turn into kind of the hot mess that many aromatics can. So it's a fine aromatic. The second thing that I'm smoking from the Country Squire, probably sometime last year, I picked up this is a lovely little, looks to me like it was a kind of a basket pipe that they had. It's made in Italy, but that they had their name, Country Squire, inscribed on. I could be completely wrong and insulting the Country Squire, but it was a cheap little pipe. I mean, I think I spent 45, at the high end, $50 on the pipe. Just good little bent apple. It's a good pipe. Well, it's been a while since I've given you a story, and so I got two for you tonight. The first one was this past weekend, 21st and 22nd of June, is in my hometown, Ruston, Louisiana. We put on every year a peach festival because we have peach orchards here, and it's a good summer thing. So the last weekend in June, or the fourth weekend in June, something like that, towards the end of June, we do our annual Louisiana Peach Festival. And it's put on by the Chamber of Commerce. This year I'm the chairman of the board of the Chamber of Commerce, and so I spent a lot of hours volunteering and helping out. The Chamber of Commerce staff do a wonderful job of actually running that. But anyway, I was volunteering at one of the gates because it costs to get in to the festival, as you might suspect. We put it on to bring people in from outside of our community, to bring dollars into the community, but it's an event that we charge for because it's a fundraiser for the Chamber of Commerce as well. There are a lot of different events that go on, but I was working a gate at City Hall. Our City Hall becomes part of the Peach Festival, where we have an arts and crafts show. And there's also a peach art exhibit that is at City Hall for the whole month of June, and the whole week prior and week after. Well, towards the end of my shift, a man and his wife and approximately 7-year-old son approach. The wife already has an armband on, so I know she can get into the festival because that's what we put on, to make sure you can, that way you can go in and out, and we have concerts at night. You get to go to that, right? So your $10 isn't just to get into a arts and crafts show, it gets you into some concerts on Friday night and Saturday night, so it's a good deal, right? Anyway, so he comes up and goes, I want to go see the peach art exhibit, which is inside the Civic Center. So, okay, that's great. It's $10 to get in. He's like, oh, you gotta be, that's ridiculous. How can it cost $10? I just want to go see my 7-year-old son's peach art. And, like, well, if you want to go see, I don't know if y'all can hear that, but we've got some college students who moved in the neighborhood and driving around in their loud cars and loud music. Anyway, where was I? Well, I just want to go to the peach art exhibit. I was like, well, okay, that's fine, but if you want to go in there, you got to pay $10. That's just the deal. So he's like, that's ridiculous. The wife's apologizing, like, it's okay. We'll just come back next week. We'll come back on Monday, and he continues on his rant. Well, they go around the corner. We'll help a few other people, and then mom and son decide to come back and go so they can go see his peach art exhibit, right? There. Well, so I'm looking over at my guy because the guy was obviously the guy I'm working the gate with, because the man who came up and threw a fit, obviously, it was just weird to me. So I looked over at the guy who was working the gate with me and go, here's what I don't get about any of this is, I can get that you're frustrated that it costs $10, but he went to like a whole nother level and got angry that we wouldn't let him in, that we wouldn't treat him special or different than everybody else. And I said basically those exact words, like, I just don't get that mindset. Why are you going to be angry at that? Because as he's leaving, here's the thing. He tries to pull the whole power play. What are y'all's names? Like he's going to report me, right? Going to report me to who? Myself? I'm the chairman of the board. Now, he doesn't know me. I know exactly who this man is, but he doesn't know me. And so he obviously doesn't realize that he's talking to the person who's in charge, in theory, of this whole thing. So, anyway, so I just said, I really just don't get that mentality. Well, at that point, he comes around the corner. So he's obviously heard everything I've just said to him, and he starts, well, I'm just going to stand right here, I guess, because I can't go in. It's so ridiculous. I can't pay $10. I'm like, dude, I have not asked you to do anything that I haven't asked everybody else that came in over here or wanted to come in. I had a 93-year-old grandmother who wanted to get some peach ice cream, and she's like, I get it every year. Well, if you want to go get the peach ice cream, you got to pay the $10. Everybody's got a story about how it used to be free, or they don't think that they should be charged. But we've put on this thing, and we're putting on a lot of effort. It's $10 for everybody to come in. Plain and simple, right? It's the rules. So he was like, well, who's running this whole thing? I'm like, well, I am. I'm the chairman of the board. Which he's like, he was like, well, don't you think this is ridiculous? I'm like, it doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what I think one bit whether I think that it's ridiculous you got to pay in to go. Here's the deal. It's $10 to get in. I was like, well, why don't you just change the rule? Then I was like, that's not how this works. It's like, sure it does. You're the chairman. It's like, no. Just because I'm the chairman doesn't mean I get to change the rules willy-nilly and just let anybody in that I want to. That's not the way it works. And so I took an armband off, and I said, here's the deal. I'm going to give you this armband. I'm not changing the rules. I'm just going to pay the $10 for you. so you can go ahead and go in and go see your son's peach art exhibit. And the man goes, oh, no, I got $10. It's not about the money. Well, it's not about the money. What is this all about? So that's my story for tonight. One of my stories. It's just, don't be a dickhead. Just don't do it. Well, I mean, why was this guy bothering 2 volunteers over $10? If you want to pay $10, say that's fine. I'm not going to do it. You know, maybe the guy didn't realize all this other stuff. The other part about it is this guy's, you know, well, I won't go into that. So, anywho, don't be a dickhead. Number 2, second story. And this one's a little bit quicker. I came home from lunch today. My kids were playing, as they tend to do. And got a set of bunk beds. They're playing on them. I've just warned them, said, y'all be careful. Don't do anything stupid. Don't play rough. Don't do anything, you know. But they're kids. They're not going to listen. So they continue to play on the bunk beds. I hear a thud. Then I hear crying. And I hear crying from my 3-year-old boy. And I come in and they go, oh, so-and-so pushed Henry, that's my 3-year-old, pushed him off the ladder and he fell down face first. And so I go over and I pick him up and he's crying pretty bad. And he's kind of holding his arm. And sure enough, I kind of take a look at it as I go to hand him to my wife, because she's better at consoling kids than I am. And as I start to look at his arm, I'm like, that, you know, it's nothing major, but that kind of looks like, has his arm always kind of had a little bend to it? I don't think so. So, very long story short, 5 hours later, after having x-rays and had a consult from an orthopedic surgeon, he's now got a cast and he'll be wearing for the next 4 weeks. In the middle of July and the hottest part of the summer here. And during that time, he can't get it wet. So I don't know how that's going to work with sprinklers in the pool, but he can't get it wet at all. So y'all can be praying for us of how we're going to entertain 4 crazy kids in the summer and trying to avoid water for the youngest. Anyway, and y'all can be praying for him just his arm heals well. I'd appreciate that. Well, gang, Earl of Pipes, enjoying some Baron Vanilla Flake. Y'all have a good evening. Bye.